Hey, happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the SEO Video Show. Today's guest is the co-founder of Niche Website Builders, Adam Smith. Today's topic, so we talk about website investing and age domains. Don't forget to today's sponsor, interest.com/AWT. All right. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Friday. Don't be shy. Say hi in live chat. I see already Adam in the live chat. Hey guys. I see a few of you out there. Don't be shy. Ah, yeah. Ernesto, happy Friday, y'all. Oh yeah, it's a lovely day here in the Bay Area. Oakland, California is where I'm from. Who's ready to learn about domains, website investing? Because I am. I want to quit my corporate job just like Adam did. Let's see how he did it. I'm going to follow each step by step. And let's see if I can quit my job by next year. Let's try that. All right, let's go. Stefan. Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Ethan. Happy Friday, y'all. This time it's sunny from Tampa. Ooh, I love to visit Florida. Fletcher. What's up, fellas? Oh yeah, we're getting the party started early here. Thank you for coming in. Today's topics, we'll be talking about website investing and age domains with our age domain expert, Adam Smith of Niche Site Builders. Ah yeah. Don't be shy, guys. Say hi in live chat. We got about 7 more minutes to go. Go grab your drink. I know some of you in the UK drink a beer or a wine at this time. I know some of our guests get a little buzzed and ask crazy questions. So let's go, guys. Happy Friday, y'all. Get your questions ready. We have a lot to talk about today. I think I finally got my internet connection fixed. I hope. I turned off every single device in my home to make sure we get a nice clean stream. Luther, hi Dre and Adam, what's up my man? Oh, Hobby, I knew that was you. I had a call from Poland, and I didn't answer because I was getting things ready, my man. I didn't see your text, but I did see a call missed from Poland. I didn't know who was calling me from Poland, but thanks to you for calling me. Thank you for joining the live stream today. If you have any questions, Hobby, make sure let's keep it on topic on age domains, anything on website investing. What are you drinking today, Hobby? Again, we'll be talking about website investing and age domains. Awesome topic, passive income, with our boy, Adam Smith, the co-founder of Niche Website Builders. We got 5 more minutes to go. Get your questions ready. Get your drink ready. Let's do this. Oh yeah. Adam's going to grab a beer. Beer o'clock. This is gonna be a fun one, guys. Be sure to get your questions ready. Today's topics, we'll be talking about website investing, age domains. Don't forget to visit today's sponsor, hrefs.com/AWT. Hobby. You said I have to come to Poland. What's up, my man? What's out there right now? Oh yeah. Kobe asks, where do you find expired domains? We'll talk about that today. I'll be sure to bring up your question again when we get the interview started. Thank you, Kobe, for the question. Oh yeah, we got 3 more minutes to go. Brian, my man! Welcome. Nice to see you here live, Brian. We got a special guest today. Adam Smith. Niche website builders. We're going to be talking about expired domains, website investing. It's gonna be a good one, guys. Don't be shy. Say hi. We got about 2 more minutes to go. I see a bunch of you in the live chats. And some quiet ones. You quiet ones, speak up. Don't be shy. Say hi. Oh yeah. Brian, how's it out there in Canada? Nice and sunny? Summer weather? Alright guys, we got about 1 more minute to go. I'm gonna get things ready here. You can sneak in your shout outs in less than 1 minute. And I'll see you on the other side. Brian says, oh yeah. Sunny hot. Love it, love it. Okay. Get things ready here.
Hey, time to get it started, no delay, let's work. Wanna see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre De Vera, steady dropping knowledge. Over 15 years in the game, so he knows all about it. Master the art of SEO, you will be amazed. Time to get your brand off page to on page. Dropping knowledge, legendary for sure. Whether you're just getting started or self-employed entrepreneur. Yeah, let's go. Subscribe to the SEO video show. Hey!
Hey, welcome to another episode of the SEO Video Show, where SEO is alive and fun. My name is Paul Andre De Vera, aka Dre, and I curate SEO videos released in the past week into about 1-minute clips. My favorite part of the show is when I get to introduce my guest, and my guest this week is the co-founder of niche site website builders, Adam Smith. Before we get started, let's say what's up to everyone in chat. I see Brian, niche website builders, who's Adam, Hobby, Brian, Kobe, Hobby, Ethan, Stefan, Ernesto, Fletcher. Welcome everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Now let's get on with the show.
This is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. What do SEOs use when they go fishing? Link bait.
First, the latest with Google. Google published a new page that lists all the Google search ranking updates this past week on Google Search Central. Nothing new, it's just links to more info on each update that has been posted recently. Okay, the link to this updates is below. Page comparison to help analyze drop in traffic by Marie Haynes. Let's check this one out.
So one of the things that we do really well at MHC is we call them page comparisons, where, after a big drop in traffic for an individual keyword, what we'll do is we'll look at, well, who actually won with, assuming it was a Google update, what pages did well. And then we compare that to the client that we're reviewing at the time, and just think like a human being. Now, it's difficult because we might not have subject area expertise, but I think that really this is one of the keys is to look at the page like a user would. And I've had a number of people reach out to me since the Maycore update and say, well, this spammy looking page started to outrank me. And when I look at the quote unquote spammy page, yeah, it might not look pretty, but the user's answer was really easy to find, and as a searcher, I would prefer that. So I think a lot of the keys to recovery are in looking at who's outranking you.
How are you analyzing drops of traffic after an algorithm update? Let me know in the comments below or in the live chat. Okay, what to do when a product you are ranking for is no longer around? Let's check this one out.
One good example was this marketing blog I was working on. They had a ton of posts about Google Plus, and that didn't exist anymore. Rest in peace, Google Plus. So what we did,
youngins out there don't even know what that is. Yeah,
I know, right? So what we did is we actually created a new post called like 15 alternatives to Google Plus. And then all of the existing marketing posts about Google Plus, we redirected to that post because Google Plus no longer existed. So that's an interesting scenario that could apply to any industry. If there's like a technology that no longer exists, a product or service that you don't use or don't want to talk about anymore, maybe there's a bunch of interviews with a certain person that you don't want to have in there anymore. Those would all be good instances where it's a pretty easy decision to decide to delete those posts and redirect them to something else.
Ranking for keyword alternatives is a great strategy in the B2B space. I mean, you can also rank for your competitors' names by creating content around competitor plus alternative. All right, Norm Vogele was on Edge of the Web this past week, and he shares his link building tip. Let's check this one out.
What we spend a lot of time doing, it's really audience based. Just like the way that we come up with content ideas is built around what do people need, what lived experiences are they having that might compel them to search for, whatever solution they're seeking.
Yeah.
Well, where else are those people gathering? What communities exist online where people are going, commiserating or sharing resources or talking or whatever? And I don't just mean social media.
Sure.
I mean actual industry specific, vertical specific websites, like a pet enthusiast, or even more specific than that, a dog enthusiast, dog breeders. The web is a beautiful place in that sense, because whatever your community, whoever your people are, they're out there, plural. There's these large groups. So our site finding tends to be based on what groups can we associate with this client or this website or this industry. Who are these people? What experiences are they having? What values and fears do they have? Based on that kind of demographic classification, what sites are serving those same needs? It's just a simple Venn diagram. Where's the overlap? And so we look for sites that exist in that overlap and then go, okay, here are some resources that fit the existing community that you've built around yourself.
This is another strategy I use in the B2B space. When you work like at an HR software company like I did, you can go to like websites like hr.com, recruitingblogs.com. So finding niche websites to get backlinks from by providing content on their sites is a great way to get backlinks to your sites. Okay, the guys over at Authority Hackers analyzed the VPN niche on link building. Let's check it out.
Or like just throw them in Ahrefs and look at top pages by links. You learn a lot. Like it's one of the best places to learn. Like if you like examples when I do content, that's the kind of places where I go.
The other site which got acquired, which we were talking about earlier, Comparitech, they look to have, I'm not sure if they acquired it or what the deal was, but there was a couple of sites, blockedinchina.net and greatfirewallofchina.org, that if you look in Ahrefs are redirected to a subpage where it is basically a tool that allows you to go and check if a website's blocked in China or not. And I guess a lot of people want to do that. A lot of people find it useful. And most importantly, a lot of people link to those sites. So they've somehow acquired these existing tools and then just swooped up all their links as well through redirects. So that seems to have given them quite a boost as well. And that's the kind of thing you have to do, spend, I don't know how much money, but like I spend a lot of money to acquire tools that have links.
This reminds me of how Neil Patel was able to acquire links with his acquisition of Ubersuggest. Do you know who else you know what else you can use for link building? Age domains. And that brings me to our guest today. Please ask questions in the live chat and I will address them in the order that they receive. But before we get started, here's a word from our sponsor. Are you sick of your competitors outranking you in the search results? Your solution is Ahrefs Webmaster Tools, and it's free $99. This isn't one of your 14-day free trial offers. Instead, it's a super powerful tool that'll do a full website audit for you and keep working for you for free. It'll scan your site and prioritize precisely what you need to fix and improve for your search results. Visit ahrefs.com webmaster-tools for this free tool. Find the link below, and by checking our sponsors, you support this show. Now let's introduce our guest.
Adam is an experienced website investor that thrives on building digital assets to provide passive income. He quit the corporate world and focused on helping others achieve their dream on using the internet to create job replacement income. In 2019, he co-founded Niche Site Builders, a full agency helping affiliate marketers grow their traffic and, more importantly, their revenue. Please welcome age domain expert and co-founder of Niche Website Builders, Adam Smith.
Adam, my man, welcome to the show.
Hello. This makes our stream look rubbish. Your production value is amazing.
No, but you know what? I want to congratulate you. I saw that Niche Website Builders was named 2022 Valley Startup of the Award winner. Congratulations.
Cheers, man. Yeah, thank you.
Love it. Okay, I want to get right into it. I want to ask you the question that I ask all my SEO professionals that get on here. The first question, in 1 minute or less, how does Adam get ranking on page 1 of Google?
Yeah, no magic formula here. Really simple. Like people, I think, complicate SEO and how to rank, and it boils down to two major things for us. One is good quality, high quality content, going after the right kinds of keywords. and good quality link building, utilizing different types of methods because there's different uses for different link building, and doing it consistently over a period of time, a long enough period of time. Doing those two things consistently will get you onto page 1.
Love it. First knowledge bomb for today. Hold on, let me rewind this real quick. All right. Adam, take us way back into time. How did you first get into SEO?
Sure. So, like, my journey into SEO might be a little bit different to some people. So, I'd worked in the digital marketing space for a number of years. I first worked at this really, really like boutique niche video ad network. We just served Asian publishers. So Asian publishers with traffic would come to us, and we had a video player where we would connect up Google Ad Exchange and serve them videos on their website. And part of my job there was to manage the AdX account and set floor limits for different pricing rules and stuff. And through that job, I got to meet obviously lots of different publishers. We were onboarding lots of publishers. I got to see how much money they were making first and foremost with driving organic traffic and then monetizing through video. And that was kind of like my introduction. I was like, oh, this is a real thing. Some of these guys are making lots and lots of money every month. And then I quit there and moved to a more traditional marketing agency in the higher education space, like serving universities in the UK. And I was kind of responsible for high-level digital strategy. It was quite a client-facing role, which was good. I'd go to universities, I'd talk to the digital marketing teams, I'd tell them different strategies. And just kind of always been interested in the digital marketing space, always been involved in it some way or another. And then I consider I got my first real start in SEO and in the world that I'm currently in when I was still working for the digital marketing agency, and I bought an affiliate website from Empire Flippers.
Oh, nice. Okay, so I mean, this website you bought, Empire Flippers. I mean, what did you do with it? Like, what? Yeah, tell us more. Like, how you went on that route.
Yeah, it was. So I had some money saved up, and this was way back in the day when Empire Flippers sold websites for down around the $10,000 mark. Like, they don't do that anymore. They're way more expensive on there now.
Oh.
And it was in a niche I knew nothing about. So I'm here in the UK, and we don't have the weather for like barbecuing and grilling and that kind of thing. Like, our version of a barbecue is just like an actual barbecue, not a smoker or anything like that. And the website was in the barbecuing and smoking niche. And I bought the website. It was monetized through Amazon affiliates predominantly. And for the next 7 to 8 months, I worked solid on that side. So I was working my day job, which was quite demanding. In the evenings, on the weekends, I was writing content, building links. I joined a load of Facebook groups. I was asking people in the, within the community of smokers, because I didn't know anything myself. I was running surveys in these groups, asking them, what type of woods go best with different foods, asking them for images of their own smokers, asking them what their favorite recipe were, and using this content. And it was great. And then the site grew really quick, and revenue grew really quick. And then I managed to sell the site about 8 months later for a decent profit. It was a healthy profit.
Wow, nice. Okay, now we see that you're very interested in it because you were able to make the website and sell for a decent profits. Can you tell us like how it ventured off to like how much more you got into SEO and how you started niche website builders?
Yeah, sure. So at that time, I sold the website. I sold the website for $60,000. I bought it like 7 months before for $10,000. And I was like, wow, this is actually amazing. I've made more in 7 months than I make all year working at my day job. I need to do more of this. But I don't want another 7 or 8 months of doing the same thing and basically killing myself, working in the evenings, working the weekends, and just having no spare time. So I asked the agency, could I drop down to 3 days a week and do website investing 2 days a week? And they said no. So I quit. Fresh with my $60,000, and I took like a month off, and then I bought another website, and I did the same thing again, and built that site up and used that cash flow to build another one, to buy another one, and so on until that was in 2019. I met my co-founder for Niche Website Builders. Mark actually heard me on another podcast where I was having a moan basically about how I couldn't find reliable freelancers, reliable outsourcers to help me with my portfolio. At this time, a fairly decent sized portfolio. And he was having the same issues. He reached out on Facebook. He lives on the other side of the country. He came down and visited, and we said, look, we should build our own team. We've got, between the two of us, we've got a portfolio big enough where we can build our own team of content writers and link builders and uploaders. And we did, and it worked really well. And very quickly we realized if we needed this service, then there's other people out there that need it. And Niche Website Builders was born. And we've been doing that now for 2.5 years. And yeah, it's going really well. We're a team of about 150 full-time employees.
Oh, nice.
We offer a bit of everything: content writing, link building, website building, everything to do with age domains. Yeah, it's full agency for affiliate marketers and content publishers.
Love it. Okay. I want to kind of bring it back a little bit, because I mean, now you started this, but we want to know, like, okay, how'd you even learn SEO, like to build up to this big team? You know, it's been around for just a couple of years, and you have this huge team. Like, so like, take us back. Like, how'd you even learn SEO before Niche Website Builders?
Yeah, so I think I picked up a lot of it through initially a lot of it through my work at the ad network and the agency, and they didn't have like a specific SEO service there. So I didn't really learn SEO at the role there, but I got to interact with lots of clients that were using SEO as part of the strategy. And like, I'm quite into like an inquisitive person. So I'd always ask them questions. I'd try and understand what their strategy was, what their plan was, what they were doing, how they were driving traffic. And I kind of had this foundation of like theory, not theory knowledge, but it wasn't practical knowledge. And then I decided I wanted to get more practical knowledge, and that's when I bought that website. And in all honesty, there's lots of trial and error. Like, I tested lots of things, tried out lots of things, see how I could make them better. And during that time, I was also consuming like an awful lot of information, as much as I could. I was listening to YouTube videos, I was reading blogs. Shout out, I don't know if anybody remembers. It's actually back online now. Somebody's restored it recently. Blue Hat SEO. I think it's like bluehatseo.com. I remember reading that, and some of the techniques that guy was using was just like blowing my mind back in the day. And I spent hours on forums, on Warrior forums, and Black Hat World, which probably not the best use of my time looking back. But in all honesty, like, I'm a big believer of, if you want to learn something, you can consume as much knowledge as you want. You can read as many books or as blogs or watch as many videos as you want, but you're never really going to start learning until you actually start doing and actually getting hands-on. And we see a lot of people get caught up in the planning phase, in the researching phase, in the trying to understand phase, what I need to do, X, Y, Z. And if they just started, they'd learn 10 times quicker than if they were trying to prepare better to actually get started. So yeah, I'm a big believer in that, and that's what I did. That's why I bought the site. I got my hands dirty, and I think that really accelerated my learning curve.
Love it, guys. Just doing the stuff, just doing it will get you learning very quickly. Okay, so we actually have a comment here from Maj. Maj says, I met Adam at SEO Underground at Newmarket. Nice guy and smashing it. Okay, what's up, Maj? All right. So I want to get into now some of the topics for today. You know, we were talking. One of the topics is like website investing and, you know, age domains. And I saw a bunch of questions coming in here that was on domains. So let's touch this about real quick. I mean, I'm curious because you actually talked about spending $10,000 on a domain, and I think this question here kind of and like asks my questions like, how do you know how much to spend on a domain? Because $10,000 could be a lot for some people.
Yeah, so just to clarify that $10,000 wasn't just for the domain; it was for the website itself. Okay. With the content, it was generating income. I'm assuming the question here is about an age domain, like how much would you spend on an age domain? And the honest answer is it depends. Unlike a website that's already generating income and is on like Empire Flippers or one of the marketplaces, they're a lot easier to value because they've got a tangible value. If it's making $1,000 a month, then the value of that website is 35, 40, 45x that revenue. But an age domain is just the domain name. There's no website attached. There's no earnings attached, and it's actually really hard to value. And it comes down to, in my opinion, a couple of things. One is the quality of it, and we can talk about what is a good quality domain and what is a bad quality domain in a bit. But it comes down to the quality. It comes down to the backlink profile. Some age domains have a link profile that you literally couldn't replicate. You couldn't buy the links. You couldn't even go out and acquire them naturally. We looked at one recently that was it was in the animal space and had links from kind of like news websites, which you'd never be able to get. But then also had links from like National Geographic and things like that, which had built up over the years, and you would never be able to acquire those. So someone who wanted to go into that space specifically and wanted to have those kind of links, the domain would be worth more than someone who didn't want to go into the space. So it comes down to kind of the backlink profile, and then it comes down to, I think, a little bit of niche. Some niches are more competitive than others. Some niches you would be prepared to pay more for a domain. But as a rule of thumb, and this is, I think you can apply this across the board, we tend to value our domains roughly at $100, $150 per Ahrefs DR rating. So if it's a DR20, then it's $2,000, $2,500, $3,000. If it's a DR40, then it's a little bit more. So, and that's really as a rough rule of thumb. You've got the other things to factor in as well.
Oh, I love that. And it kind of makes sense. I mean, because it's like the higher it is on there, the more work has been done, and the more value it is. I hope that answers your question, Luther. That's actually great, some information there. Okay, I mean, there was another question that came in while you were talking, and I'm guessing this from Kobe is just more fun expired domains. And there's a difference between expired domains and age domains, right? So I mean, and I feel like maybe if you can speak on both, like how you find domains, whether it's just do you use expired domains?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, technically there is a difference between an age domain and an expired domain, but in reality, like, people use the term interchangeably. There's not a ton of difference, and if you're going to use them for SEO value, there's no real difference anyway. Like, I don't think one is better than the other. To answer Kobe's question, where you find them, there's a couple of like major places you would find them. If you wanted to go direct, if you're comfortable with doing due diligence and finding them and vetting them yourself, because there's a ton of rubbish out there and there's very few good ones. And I'll give you some stats on kind of, how many we look at and how many we actually end up buying each week. But the main place to go is GoDaddy auctions. It's one of the biggest auctions for age domains. It can be hard to find them just going through GoDaddy. So you can use a tool like Spamzilla. It's a paid tool, but basically it brings together all the domains that have expired or dropped or are going to drop into one tool, and you can filter by DR, like some of the metrics, price. You can filter by if it's going to be in GoDaddy or Namejet or something like that. So using a tool like that to help you filter and then going direct to the auction is good, but we probably look at, I don't know, 1,000 to 1,500 domains each week. And then of that, we make a short list of about 20. And then of that, we end up bidding on maybe 6 or 7. And then of those, we end up winning maybe 3 or 4. Like it is really, and that's because, you've got to do your vetting and you did the due diligence process.
All right, Kobe, I hope that answers your question over there. So I want to get into some more of the topic of what we want to, if we first want to get into. So now you got your domains, you have your website. What are some steps into investing in like a website?
Yeah, so if you're just getting started, I think like basically there's kind of 2 routes to get started. You've got buying a website or building a website. Like they're the 2 routes to get involved, and one's not better than the other. It's really interesting dynamic with me and Mark, my co-founder, because I'm very much a buyer, improver, and flipper, and Mark is very much a build from scratch. And he's not really bought a website. He's sold a couple of websites, but he's always built from scratch. And there's different approaches, different tactics, different returns, different pros and cons, and I'm sure we're going to talk about some of the pros and cons in a sec. But yeah, they're the 2 routes to get into website investing.
Love it. Okay, so I wanted to go into those pros and cons then. Like what are some are starting from scratch? Like what are some of the pros for starting from scratch?
Sure. So if you're starting a website from scratch and you're not buying, then you get to build the website your way. And if that could be a good or a bad thing, depending on if it's your first time or if you kind of know the process. But what I mean by that is you get to build it with good structure.
Yeah.
You get to be in charge of the content strategy. Keyword research. You get to do all the keyword research and understand what topics to go after. You get to do the content briefs. You get to make sure that the quality of the content is up to your standard. If you want to, you can guarantee that it's white hat, that there's nothing shady going on. There's no PBN links or anything like that. And essentially there's no baggage come with the website. The budget can be as low as you like. You can do all of the work yourself, or you can outsource all of the work when you're starting from scratch. Most people, if it's their first time, they're going to be doing all of the work themselves. So they're swapping time, rather the resource that they're putting in is time rather than financial. Another one of the pros of starting from scratch is there's potentially a bigger ROI in the long term if you start from scratch versus if you buy. And in our opinion, generally, if you want to build a long-term business on a solid foundation, if you start from scratch, then because you can control the way it's built, the content, that guarantee there's no PBNs or there's no baggage, typically it can make for a better long-term business if you're going to build something for the long term.
Love it. Okay, now let's take it to the other side then. Tell me, what are some cons from building it from scratch?
Sure, it's slower, definitely. When you buy a website, then you've got cash flow from day one. So there's no cash flow from day one. It's slower. If you build on a fresh domain, like you've got the Google sandbox, whether you believe that if that's a thing or not, but typically it takes a long time for a new website to take off. And then the main thing is that you need the skills. Like you either need the skills or you need the help to get set up. You need the skills or the help to set up the website. You need the skills or the help to do the keyword research, to do the niche research, to write the content, to format and upload the content, to do your internal linking, to submit your everything that goes into building a website. You need to either know how to do or have help or outsource to get it done. So, if you don't have those skills, then or you don't have the resources to outsource those skills, then it can be quite difficult to start from scratch.
Love it. Yeah. And then, you're going into some of the requirements, right? Like you were talking about, you need the skills, you need to have time to grow. And so you want to make sure, I want to go straight into, buying and growing positives. Like you were talking about, there's two of them. So let's go talk about the second one where we're buying. What are some pros on buying and growing?
Yeah, I might be biased because this is my kind of MO. Okay. But some of the pros of buying, I think, are you want to move quick. You can buy and flip quite quickly sometimes. Okay. One of my the fastest turnarounds I ever did was around 30 days. I bought the site, I improved it, and then I managed to sell it to a buyer that I basically documented all the work that I'd done. I'd shown that the RPMs for the website were increasing since the work that I'd done. And we were able to, he bought it based on the future value, which is actually really hard. I think it helped that I'd done business with this person before and I'd done the same thing and he'd seen the results and he could see the same thing happening here. But you can buy and flip a website really, really quick. And on that note, there's potentially big returns fast, really fast, rather than having to wait months and months or sometimes years if for your ROI, your return on buy-in. On building, if you buy in, then the returns can be really quick. Some of the other pros are the site and the niche as well. It's both proven. If it's already making money, then you know that the niche is good, and at least up until this point, the site is pretty good because it's got to that point. There's instant cash flow from day one. So even though you've got to pay a big chunk of money up front, you start paying that money back instantly. And then some of the other benefits are and these are kind of tangible benefits, I think, if you've got a portfolio, especially if you buy a website, for example, that's already in Mediavine, and the requirement to get into Mediavine is 50,000 sessions per month. If you've got a second site or you start on a second site, once you've got your first site into Mediavine, you can add a second one with 25,000 visits. Same for AdThrive. Their requirement is 100,000. If you buy a site that's already in AdThrive and got that and meets that requirement, you can add a second site with 25,000 sessions. and you also get to see the inside workings, the inner workings of a successful website. If you want to buy and you're good at taking things apart and understanding how they work, then buying a website and trying to reverse engineer what they did to figure out how they made a success can be quite powerful.
Oh, I love that. So just if you buy something already established, you can get in good with some of these networks, and then you can bring something in smaller. Love that tip. Love that tip. Okay, so I wanted to you mentioned like you want to buy and grow fast and then sell. Like, why would you want to do that? Like, what's the purpose of like doing it quickly?
It's just for the cash. Like you can buy.
love it. Love it.
Yeah, it's just for the cash.
Got it. Okay, so I mean, now tell us some like bad things, or some not bad things, some cons of like growing your own and buying and growing websites.
Sure, it's definitely high risk because it's the opposite of what I mentioned. When you build a site, you don't get to control the quality or anything like that. And if you do due diligence wrong, or even sometimes if you don't do due diligence wrong and you're just unlucky that something happens to the site after you bought it, you're stuck holding that baby. Like everyone in this space raves about successes. Like I bought a website almost 2 years ago, and it was outside of I've got a very strict kind of criteria that I buy websites based on, and it was outside of my criteria. And I thought I was being greedy, to be honest. I thought I'm going to buy this website. It was a lower multiple. I literally have to hold it for 3 months, wait for the average revenue to carry on increasing, and then I'll flip it on. And I had it for about 5 weeks, and Google update came out. The site lost about 80% of its traffic, and that's one of the risks of buying. And that site was, I think, almost $40,000, and I'd lost 80% of that $40,000 within 5 weeks. And then, you've got to struggle to build it back up. Then, And on the flip side, I've done it the other way around, where I've bought sites and sold them, like I say, in 30 days and made profit on the other side. But it's definitely more high risk. The ROIs can be smaller. I say can be. Depends on how long you hold them. Like my personal kind of MO is to buy a website, improve it, and then typically hold it for 12 months. I've got a core portfolio of my website, some core websites in my portfolio that I just hold long term for cash flow, but there's a lot in there that's turning over, and that means because I can turn them over quicker, I don't mind taking a smaller or a lower ROI than if I was building websites. Some of the other cons are due diligence can be really overwhelming, and if you get it wrong, then obviously you can be stuck with a website that's not great, or you can't sell on, or gets hit in an update. And due diligence goes into looking at the backlink profile and all the kinds of external factors, but then you've also got to look at internal stuff on Google Analytics. You've got to be proficient with analytics to have a look at where's the traffic coming from, how much of it is organic, does it come from social, what do those profiles look like, those social profiles look like, what does that work look like, do you have the skill set to run a social media account, does that traffic come from the US predominantly or tier 1 countries, or does it come from tier 2 countries, which can't be monetized as easy? Is there a dependency on one page on the website that gets 50% of the traffic? And if you bought that website and that one page dropped down a few positions in Google, you'd end up losing a big chunk of the traffic. Like there's so much that can go wrong with due diligence when you buy a website that it can definitely be overwhelming. And then the other thing basically is like content and links may not be up to your own standards. If they've built PBNs, or the content they've outsourced to non-native English speakers, or they've gone after the wrong kinds of keywords. And then when they've uploaded that content, they put images in just from Google search and there's no licenses. Like there's all kinds of things that you need to check. And all this, I think, falls under the due diligence umbrella, but it's risky and you've got to do due diligence, I think, are the main cons.
Love it. Thank you for the rundown. We're getting a bunch of questions here, so I'm curious. You talked about like your like kind of checklist that you have. Do you have that posted somewhere for some when you're vetting on like a domain, like or buying? Is that, do you have like that resource somewhere?
Not for individual websites, but definitely for age domains. And in all honesty, there's a lot of crossover. So if you go to our YouTube channel, the Niche Website Builders YouTube channel, on the playlist, in the age domain playlist, there's a video there which talks. It's literally about due diligence, and we go through step by step what we look at, or why we look at it, and all that kind of stuff.
Excellent. All right, let's go to some of the questions here. We have from Stefan. Hi, Adam. Do you experiment with niche directory websites?
No, I don't. To be honest, I've never really played with them. I think it's hard work. I think to do that, because in my understanding of niche directory websites, there's it's hard to get those links indexed, especially if it's a big directory. There's lots of people building profiles and stuff like that in these directories, and I guess it's hard to get those indexed. But no direct experience.
All right, so we want to go one question here from Jeremy. He goes, what niches are best for quick flips when building up a site from scratch?
Yeah, this question, we get asked this question a lot, and the honest answer is there's no right answer of what the right niche is. Almost every niche you look at these days is pretty much saturated. All these websites that cover it. I think you've got to come at it from a mindset of, how can I do better than the sites that are already in the space, rather than trying to find this magical niche that's probably never going to exist. The other thing that I would point out on that is, though, at niche website builders, and personally, we're finding we're having a lot more success at the moment with informational-based websites rather than affiliate-based websites. Google is definitely having some kind of vendetta, or something's going on where they're targeting like affiliate kind of websites. And that's not to say all affiliate websites. If you do a really good job on the content, then that's great. But informational-based websites we're seeing great success with at the moment. So I would look for a niche that allows you to write tons and tons of informational-based content, question and answers, listicles, that kind of stuff.
Love that tip. Okay, guys, make sure you kind of like look into your informational websites. We got another one here from let's see here, from AB. Okay, have you ever registered some domain in India or in a different continent?
No, just mainly the top level domains. I've got some .co.uk because I live in the UK, but that's the extent of my experience in other country domains. Sorry.
All right. Okay, I want to go back into the journey of you creating your websites here, because I mean, you have your website. You said you need some patience. I mean, can you tell us like how the journey is, so we can expect it, so we don't like get discouraged so easily when we want to invest in websites?
For sure. And again, the timescale is different if you are buying versus building, but I'm assuming you mean building from scratch. And like in terms of time horizons, you should really be thinking about like a couple of different milestones, like 12 months, 18 months, and then 24 months. And if it's on a fresh domain, like you should be thinking, in 12 months' time, I'm going to be seeing some tangible traffic. I'm going to be seeing some actual traction and some growth in my Google Analytics. 18 months, you should be thinking, I'm starting to see some decent amounts of revenue. And then at 24 months, you should be thinking, this is now starting to look exponential. Like my revenue and traffic are growing month on month, and things are going in the right direction. I think a lot of people get caught up in the get rich quick thing, or I'm going to do something and it's going to make me rich overnight. Like honestly, affiliate and content websites are not get rich quick kind of schemes. You can reduce that time horizon with an age domain. If you build on an age domain, and there's a number of reasons for that. Like an age domain or an expired domain has obviously got history with Google in the past. Google knows the website. We're finding at the moment, loads of people are talking about indexing issues. They're struggling to get new content indexed. With an age domain, not always, but most of the time, you don't find that's a problem, because it's already got history with Google. Google already trusts the domain and the site. And also, you starting from a foundation of authority. If you build it on a fresh domain like a DR0 with no backlinks, and you build on an age domain, which is a DR30 with 500 referring domains, you're obviously going to get traction quicker. The process is exactly the same, just that time horizon is shifted a little bit shorter with an age domain.
Love it. Okay, so I wanted to go into like making the money, the ROI, the return on investment on some of these domains, because even on one of the videos I actually was looking at this past week by the Authority Hacker guys, they were talking about like affiliate websites, and they were talking about like how VPN Mentor and Niche sold for $100 million. Like the affiliate website sold for $100 million. I mean, I'm curious, like what's the ROI for you? Like I'm curious, like have you sold a site for like 7 figures, or take us through the ROI on some of this stuff?
not seven figures. I've sold websites for six figures.
Okay.
Not seven figures. Although we did have one of our clients, and this is like a very exceptional case. We did have one of our clients go from we built it on an age domain. He put a ton of resources into it. We put almost 1.5 million words of content on the site, and we sourced another 6 age domains, and we redirected those into the website. So the spend was about $185,000 over the course of a 12-month, but he went from zero to earning $40,000 in 12 months. And that website then was worth seven figures. So I've helped the client do that, but I've never done it on my own, which is disappointing in one respect and great in another respect. But yeah, I've sold multiple sites for six figures, and I sent you over some examples of like an actual real life kind of site that I bought and some of the figures, and I don't know if you want to kind of talk through some of those numbers now.
Yeah, let's talk some of those numbers. I mean, do you want to take us through it on some of the sites that you bought?
Yeah, so I bought this site it was actually on Flipper, and there's lots of different marketplaces you can go and buy websites from these days. Flipper, usually, like, you don't tend to find a lot of really good sites on Flipper, but this site was listed in August 2021, and I knew it was good. I knew it met my criteria. There was a lot of quick wins that I could implement on the website really quick and increase the monetization. So I just bought it at the buy now price. I didn't even bother with the auction. I just bought it, and it was $60,000. The site was really under monetized. It only had AdSense on there. There were very few placeholders, and I was like, this is awesome. I can do 4 or 5 quick things on here that'll take me like couple of days max, and I know for sure that I'm going to increase the revenue and increase the value of the site. So I bought the website, and I did this is kind of like if it's display advert, this is like my quick win shortlist. I increased the font size, and it doesn't sound like a great thing, like a big thing, but when you increase the font size, what you do is increase the like space on the page, and what it does is the user needs to scroll more, and in doing so, they spend more time on the site, and you get slightly higher RPM. All these things, by the way, they're only incremental, but when you add them together, it has a real big impact. So increase the font size on the website, added more images to increase page breaks. So the articles on this website literally either didn't have any images or just had one image. By adding more of them, I basically added more page breaks, which means the site was monetized with Ezoic, meant that there's more spots for placeholders for more adverts to show, and the more adverts that show, the higher the RPM, and you get an increase in revenue. Added some FAQs to the end of each piece of the top content, and I'm a big fan of the 80-20 rule. Like, I didn't add FAQs I didn't do any of this stuff to 80% of the content. I only focused on the 20% of the content that was driving 80% of the traffic, and to do that, you go to Google Analytics, just have a look at what are the top pages. So added some FAQs to the end of each piece, just to make the content a little bit better. Again, to add more length to the content. The longer the content for display ads, the more ad spots and the more revenue. I increased the site speed. The site was really, really slow, even though it was very basic with like no video and no images. And I did this through a couple of different things. Like, I lazy loaded the images that I now added. Any videos on there, lazy loaded the videos. And I used Ezoic Leap kind of site speed optimization. So they do a lot of things in the background. You basically go in, you turn it on in Ezoic, and you change a couple of the settings, and then that also increases the site speed. And the main other thing that I did was switch the monetization from Adsense over to Ezoic, and added more placeholders, more spots for adverts. And in doing so, when I bought the website, like I said, I paid $60,000 for it, which was a 35 times multiple for the website, which meant the website, on average, over the last 12 months, I'd earned $1,700 per month. And then I've owned that site now for 10 months, and the average over the last 10 months has gone up from $1,700 to $2,793. And also during that last 10 months, site multiples have gone up from 35 times to 40, 45 times. So if we use a 40 times multiple, the site is now worth $111,000. So it's a 6-figure site now. So if I was to sell the website today, the total profit would be, since I've owned it in those 10 months, the revenue has been 27,000. I'd make 51,000 on the resale. So in 10 months, I would have made about $80,000 or $8,000 per month. And that's literally for 5 days work of upfront work, doing those 5 steps. It literally took me like 5 days to do that. So
Damn! Man, that is some crazy money there with all that. I mean, I wanted to, like, that's with all that. Like, I mean, I'm curious. Are you able to tell us what niche this was in?
Yeah, this is in it's in the technology space, but it's a display ad website, so it's not a product based. It's informational about a certain type of technology.
And then why did you switch from like display ads, or it was like Google ads, to Ezoic? Why did it change there?
Yeah, so and then this is a great tip for anyone. If you ever see a website that's for sale and it's monetized predominantly through Google Adsense, buy it, because as soon as you switch that ad network from AdSense to Ezoic or to Mediavine or AdThrive, it's going to earn you more. And this is just coming from my days with the ad network. The demand that these other ad networks have just pay higher. Like, just to get, like, if you want to get into the technicalities, Google AdSense is a product, and then they have access to Google Exchange or Google AdX account, and more. They just pay, there's higher paying ads in there. So just by switching it, you can make more money.
Ooh, I love that tip. I gotta try that. All right. So I wanted to go ahead and guys, if you have questions, ask them in the live chat, because I'm gonna ask my last question in a few minutes here. But I wanted to go ahead. We had AB asking a bunch of questions here. Let me pick one of them here for you guys. Let's see here. Let's find. You have so many questions here, AB. I don't know if you have one that you want to ask. Let me know. But let me see. Like, let's see here. Let's ask this one here.
I could answer that one, by the way, because I think I just kind of quick thinking about the movie industry and thinking about informational content and how you could expand that. Like, and I don't know for sure, but I bet there's people searching for where are certain movies filmed or what actors are in certain movies, and you could create informational content around that kind of those kinds of topics. And you don't need a product; you just need traffic for display ads. So anything to do with it could be a database of what years film came out in, or who starred in them, or where they were filmed, or genres of different movies. If you can create like an informational based site around those kinds of topics, then I think that would be a great place to look.
Oh, I love that. Love that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. There's one more that I saw here. I think something on some subdomains, because I'm curious about this too. It goes, do you use subdomains as SEO acceleration for your main domain? Do you use subdomains in kind of your strategy with expired domains, or?
No, and I'd recommend against using subdomains. Google have actually come out and said, don't use subdomains anymore. Use the folder structure. So instead of using like shop.website.com, use website.com/shop. However, it is interesting for age domains, because some of those age domains would have had subdomains in the past. They might have had a shop.website.com, and the links or the pages on that subdomain may have attracted really high quality links that you want to maintain. So in that case, it's worth resetting up the subdomain so you can redirect those individual URLs back to related content on your main website.
Ooh, love it. Dropping all these knowledge bombs. Okay, I wanted to go ahead. We're coming close to time here. I want to ask my last question, what I asked all my SEO professionals come on here. If someone wants to get into the SEO industry, what would your advice be to them?
I think twofold, really. One would be to get a job in the space if you can, even if it's an entry-level job. Get a job so you're surrounded by people who are in the space and people who are kind of more knowledgeable. And also start your own side project. At Niche Website Builders, we actually encourage all of our staff to start their own content website or affiliate website. We bought them training from Matt Diggity, the Affiliate Lab, from Authority Hacker. Like, we have those courses available for our team to take, and we encourage it. And in our last team meetup, we basically said to them, like, it would please us so much if some of our staff in the next year or 2 or 3 years actually left because they were making a full-time income from their websites. Like, we would love that, because that's what we did. So yeah, I think working in a space that encourages that and then taking action and learning it on your own time, I think is probably the best way to get into it.
Love it, love it. Thank you so much for being our special guest here. I want to, like, if there's any, how can people get a hold of you? I mean, let us know, like, where can we find you? Tell us where we can see your podcast, all that good stuff.
Sure. So, head on over to the website, www.nichewebsite.builders. On there is kind of our services, but there's also a little chat box. You can send us a message. We've got a YouTube channel. We do a weekly podcast where we speak to different guests. And then we also do 3 live streams a week. So on Tuesday, we do Age Domain Tuesday. So anybody who's interested in age domains, come and listen. We talk about everything from, how we do the due diligence, how we actually set them up, how we recreate some of the old content, anything to do with them. And what we also then do as well every week is we take 2 domains from our inventory and we do a teardown. We do the due diligence live so you can see exactly what we're looking at.
Ooh.
And then we run through a plan of this is what we would do if we were to build this website out for you. So you can see like our thinking behind looking at competitors and looking at the space and figuring out kind of what we would do. That's on a Tuesday. On a Wednesday, we do another show called the Niche Lifestyle Show, and that's with Doug Cunnington and Alex from WP Eagle. So we take it in turns and we rotate around our 3 channels every week. And that one's a bit more relaxed and chilled. We talk about broad topics. We talk about how to be successful online. This week we talked about how to be happy. Like what does it mean to be happy? I mean, it's always related to online, but it's more like the higher level topics rather than kind of teaching SEO or teaching a strategy. And then on a Thursday, we do another live stream called the Website Investing Show, where we cover specific topics about website investing, such as buy-in versus build-in, like what we've talked about today. Is it better to buy? Is it better to build? Like all that kind of stuff. We talk about, internal linking. What is internal linking? How to do it correctly? How we do it internally as a service and for our own websites. So it's more about website investing in general, but there's lots of actionable kind of tips in there. So that's where you can go find us. And the other avenue is to find me on LinkedIn. Like I'm active on LinkedIn. Add me as a friend. Send me a message if you want to learn more. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you, Adam, for being our special guest today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. You killed it. Can you hold on for one quick second while I sign off here?
Yeah.
Hold on real quick. All right, guys. That concludes another episode of the SEO Video Show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I'll see you next week for our 100th episode, our 2-year anniversary with a very special guest. So I'll see you next week. Peace out.
Yeah. Hey, time to get. Thank you for watching. Hope you come back next week. Make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss a thing. Hope you learn something new, cause the vibe is incredible. From the special SEO Professionals SEO Video Show. Let's work. Want to see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre De Vera helping you step it up. No delay right now. Time to level up. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Woo!
Right, let me